Welcome to Unlock Your Soul with yours truly, Anthony Your Soul. As we celebrate International Women's Month, I am so honored and it's such a huge pleasure to have with me a firebrand. Somebody who, let me tell you, she's even wearing the color that I love, color orange, which is when you know when fire is really hot, it's color orange. I'm talking about the one and only Senator Gloria Orwoba, who is a Kenyan politician who has served as a nominated senator representing women in the Senate of Kenya since 2022. In 2023, she received international press attention when an apparent blood stain on her trousers caused by menstruation prompted the Senate president to ask her to leave the chamber. And I'm telling you, literally, that has become like the one thing when we think about Senator Gloria Orwoba. We remember her audacity, we remember her strength, and today we want to unlock, where does this fire come from? Where does this energy come from? Because nobody can stop her. I think when you are kicked out, people thought you'd probably never get in again. And you know what I get in mean? Like, oh, she'll probably keep her mouth shut. But who are you? Who is Gloria?
Who is Senator Gloria Orwoba?
Who is Senator Gloria Orwoba? Mhesh. How are you, Mhesh?
I am doing so well.
Yeah.
Nimekusikia ukiongea, I'm like, is that me? Like, you know how you like, listen to someone. It's like, oh, wow, yeah, firebrand.
Yeah, your report card. You're like, Aki, mom,
that's
see
my
me.
report
That's
card.
not me.
Wow. It seems like a lot.
Gloria, do you... First, it's very difficult to call you Gloria. It's rude. Senator Gloria.
It's so difficult for me to hear you calling me
and for me, I'm like, no, I don't want to take advantage because
now
that's
other.
Bad manners. Senator Gloria, Senator, are you used to being called Senator or Mhesh? Did you ever think this would ever happen?
Well, I was vying to become a member of parliament. So yes, I had the vision that at one point, nitakuwa mheshimiwa.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that I'll be in Senate.
Wow.
Yeah. Senate was not the place I thought I would end up.
Yeah.
But I'm now getting used to people calling me Senator. I'm like 19, 20 months down the road. I'm like, that's me. Yeah.
Your relatives, do they sometimes sleep?
No. My relatives are like, glow tupatie hii, glow sasa. Glow mbona ushiki simu?
Nimekuona kwa TV glow.
Glow nimekuona kwa TV.
So it's been a very interesting journey knowing that I have known you from the development world, or sort of advocacy, sustainability world, dealing with people, the underserved communities.
Yes.
But it also feels like it was meant to happen this way. You're one of the people who I can actually vouch for and say that you did come from serving the underserved to really being in a place of power where you're now doing a lot for them. Again, going back to what you've been doing, let people understand where you've come from the days of working in Kibra. Wajue Gloria, by the way, you just didn't fall off someplace and then you became at the nominated.
I have been in the NGO world forever, like since 2007.
Wow.
Yeah, I was at Sarakasi Trust, I've had my own community, my CBO.
Yes.
Eventually that grew into an NGO. I've worked in literally all the slums in Nairobi.
Wow.
Like you name it. Mkuru kwa Jenga, kwa Ruben, Kibra, all.
Yeah.
This other side, ata huku pande za Gashie, all. I've worked in all the slums.
Yeah.
And it's even my background is in social work. So I'm an architect as well, but my background is also in social work. So it's something that I have been very intentional about. And so, like you said, it automatically what happens to, and I think this is where activists or community workers and social workers should head to. They should head to leadership.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like when I'm addressing a legislative agenda, it's easy for me kuishikanisha na vitu kwa ground because I've been there and I've served these communities and I've been part of this group of people. So it's easy for me to relate.
Yeah. You the passion or the love for people is not coming from now I need to love people. No, it's always been there.
I've always been a people person. Like even way back, like Toka primary school, I've always been a people person.
But also been a people person before we go to the period accident that happened that day. It also comes a lot of speaking your mind.
Yeah.
It's I was watching an interview. Why have I forgotten what you said? There's something you said, and you said, you cannot be out here serving people or wanting to be for the people, and you don't talk about this.
And
issues.
you don't talk about
this. There must be
there has to be a correlation.
Yeah.
So first, being a people person is, I think for most people it's natural. You want to socialize with people,
Yes.
you want to engage people, you want
Yes.
to see different backgrounds.
Yes.
Si ati umelelewa buru, alafu unakaa buru now
Yeah.
you're stuck there, So I've always been that person who's like, oh, let's go and see what these guys here do.
Yeah.
Oh, nyinyi pia muna kuangana vitu zinaka ABCD. So, and what that does, it opens your mind to various backgrounds. So by the time now I was jumping into politics, it was easy for me even to know I want to vie in this particular constituency because this is what I want to do. It wasn't like, sasa nitasimama kiti gani?
Yeah.
I could easily be like, I want to serve people in this capacity and bring development. So, so when I look at even my campaign, I came back to the country in 2019.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you know that because...
Yeah, because I've known you.
Because you've known me
I
for
know
so
Gloria.
long. You've known me personally.
By the way, yeah. I literally called your child. I don't want to say the
Jay.
gender. Yeah, Jay. Like your child is not called Jay, and I was there saying Jay, and you told me one day, why do you call my child Jay? My child is not called Jay. And people end up calling him Jay.
Yeah, and people ended up calling him Jay because now you're like, Jay akwa Jay.
Until namwitanga hivyo, So you've come back to the country.
So I came back 2019.
Yeah.
Intentionally because I was like, I'm done with the Europe life.
Yeah.
I want to come back to my country and I want to join politics.
Yes.
And even by that time, I knew I wanted to vie in Kisii County.
Yes.
And for that particular constituency, Bobasi constituency. So if you look at even my campaign journey, I wasn't campaigning to print my t-shirt.
Yeah.
I did programs. I used my social work and my community work too. So I was trying to show people, guys, this is a pilot program of how we can teach our youth on business development and business skills. Na mukinipatia CDF, there's a way I can now make sure that money is channeled towards the right direction. Same with like the nutrition program. So I was using community-based initiative to campaign. Yeah. Which was so awkward. So guys were like, watatumia pesa nyingi and I waste pesa.
But you're like, I want change. I'm not just doing this for the sake.
I'm like, if I wanted to just be elected, I might as well do what everyone
I might as well bribe all of you.
Usimamisha watu kwa line uwapatie kila mtu 200 daily for 3 months. In some places watakupe kura.
Exactly. But then also it means that they cannot call you out. You're not accountable to them.
And I wanted to show the guys from Bobasi, Constituency Development Fund can do so much. Like the nutrition program, just having uji na mkate in schools. And when I started it, guys were like, And then after one school time, guys are like, this thing is, we were having kids transferring from other schools, neighboring schools, coming to that school where I'm providing uji and porridge. And I was trying to tell them, this is a pilot. If I'm now given CDF, which is more sustainable, I'll create now a program under there.
Exactly.
And make sure that in Bobasi constituency, all primary school kids, they get uji na mkate when they go to school.
Wow.
So but it didn't work out. Eventually, I lost at the primaries. Well, I didn't lose. Someone keeps reminding me, you didn't lose. You got 6,000 votes as the first woman ever to vie in Kisii as Bobasi Member of Parliament, and you got 6,000 votes.
That means you touched lives.
Oh, yes.
They knew this Usmu can change our lives.
The women there voted for me, by the way. The women were like, wacha tupatia mama hata si tuone what leadership can be. So, and then I joined the presidential campaign team. I was so devastated, Anto, by the way. Siasa.
Yeah, ulikuwa na feel aje ukijua. Also me, I know that maybe kuna ile roho unajuanga hapa nimechezwa. You just, there's one where the way my team is telling me, we've been played here. And also, again, unfortunately, you can't seem like a sore loser because you'll be so stuck in that losing.
Honestly,
but that was played.
It was during Easter.
Yeah.
And I literally was in my bed all of Easter.
Wow.
And all of the next week.
Gosh.
And I would only wake up to switch on my phone and send very, very, not nasty, but
Harsh.
messages to my party leader.
Yeah.
And and then I don't even wait for the response.
Actually, it's just venting. Because it's family, so you're venting.
I would send to my party leader these messages, and I'm like, namkumbusha 6,000 votes. This guy even who won. Alafu hata singoje response. Because naogopa hata kupata
unazima simu.
Nazima alafu tena naasha. Naona response. Na vent like that for literally more than 10 days.
Where?
And then eventually now when my messages started looking like I've gotten out of it, because then I'd be like, oh, we should do this. Oh, so ni kama alikuwa ananipe time. Wewe, isi psycho hivi.
Yeah.
So let me give you time.
How are you feeling that time when how are you feeling when
I cried, bana.
Guy.
Where? I was just thinking all my savings. People are going to laugh
where was
at
I
me.
thinking? Like, what was I thinking? Why did I do it? Yeah, I left Europe for this.
It was bad. It was a dark place. Then slowly, the good thing, I think, when I look back, it was the venting. And then even like when I look at the messages now, you laugh, eh?
Yeah, you're like,
but then you can see that I'm progressively coming out of the dark space.
Yeah.
Alafu now niko, hata hii campaign ya hapa, we should have done ABCD. Oh, I think women should. And then he was like, you need to come. You need to join the
the
presidential
team.
campaign team.
Yeah.
So
like we were giving you time to breathe. See, you're okay now.
By the way, during that period, I didn't even think through it, because when I was sharing my experience with another person that lost party primaries and who was a sitting member of parliament, but then they lost the primaries.
Wow.
That was even more painful.
That's more painful. The incumbent.
Yeah. And when we were having a conversation, I realized so many people during that period were going through a lot, and like, generally you could tell like the political class was really struggling. It was like 3 weeks of proper struggling for the losers who lost the party primaries, and they didn't know how to pick themselves up, and until that's the message. It's like, what do you do after you lose?
Exactly.
Because by then ningezima simu mpaka sasa ningechange simu.
You'd have said, I don't care about this people anymore.
I could have gone back to Denmark.
You'd have like, you know what, I'm moving.
I could have packed and gone back and looked for jobs, and it was an option.
Exactly.
So for me, I think now that's where you start seeing, this is where you now make the right turn, you're going the right direction. Because now I was like still concerned about the presidential campaign, because now I stopped venting to some extent, and I started saying, I've seen this rally, we could have done ABCD. Why are women not gathering here? Now I started giving like constructive feedback on the things that were still going on.
And speaking of which, while you're going through all this as a woman, do you have people, mentors to a shoulder to lean on? Like, do you have a woman you can call and say, this has happened to you before, what happens? Or is it you're on your own?
I'll tell you this, definitely not a woman. The problem, and I don't want to sound, because it's International Women's Day and we're celebrating women, I think women need to get to a point where we understand that the more of us we have in power, the better it is for all of us. But you'll find, unfortunately, especially in the political world, tunakatana miguu. Like the women, because there's that thing of, for instance, I'm privileged enough to be a kissy woman in this political party. We're probably 3 or 4 of us. Why do you? Most people be like, why do you want to?
Why do you want to add more people?
It's better when
maybe
when we are
now
less,
saying,
so
I don't want to add people here.
So that we can be special. So that we can be the only kissy woman in that. So there's that kind of mindset.
There's power in numbers.
So politically, I can't tell you that, especially from my community, that the women support women. I try to be one of the women who will support women. I try. Truly, I try. And I intentionally am always like, oh, let me call this particular woman because I think she needs this, not mentorship, but just a level of support. But during that time, I would tell you, like, the support that I got, I don't know if it's fortunately, unfortunately, was actually from my business partners.
Wow.
Because my family, when you really think about it, they didn't believe in that stuff.
Because maybe my
family was like,
they're probably saying, please don't do this politics.
Wacha amalize hiyo pesa yake ya Europe kwanza.
We are afraid for her. Wacha amalize arudi back to normal.
Akimaliza hiyo pesa ndo atajua. Wacha pigwe character development. My family didn't really believe in me. And me, I'm being honest.
Exactly.
Other people will tell you what you want to hear. Oh, my family has been support. No, they didn't. They were like, why
Why are you
does she
doing
think
this? Yeah.
us who have lived in Kenya this whole time,
Yeah.
sisi hatuingi siasa.
Exactly.
Ye ametoka Europe, anafikiri atakuja
A change vitu.
Like,
Yeah.
does she really know what she's dealing with? So there was that attitude. My sister was very, very supportive. Like, actually, if there's a person who walked the journey, my sister Leah, every single step of it. But sometimes...
She's the one who looks like you.
Yeah. But
Aki si
sometimes...
Leah na kipatanga. Because Leah is like your identical twin.
If you talk, by then people are always going to her and they're like, congratulations, Senator. And she's like, thank
Like-
you. Jola says, thank you very much.
Oh. Until they ask her for money. So Senator, si wache kitu
They're
we.
they ask her for selfies and she's like, she's posing.
Yeah.
And they take photos. She's like, nimepata watu wako hapa hata tumepiga mapicha wanafikiria mimi ni
Leah
wewe.
looks like, and then she's I don't know if she's still in the media industry or in communications.
No, that's the other one. Those are
That's
the ones
other
from
one.
the... Yeah,
Aye.
Leah is in the legal fraternity.
Aye, that's even worse because you meet people in the corridors of power.
There's a time she came to see me in parliament. There was the sergeant at arms were saluting at her from the entrance. Paka kapita. In fact, I was telling her, do you know you could actually walk into chambers
Exactly.
and people would
And would
think
think.
that it's me.
The only difference is they'll be like, why is Senator not speaking today?
Yeah,
What
because
is her problem?
she's outspoken, but she's not
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So your family is like,
my family was like, they were actually, you know, those people who observe like this.
yeah.
And they're like, ati amenda wapi campaign? Ati
Yeah.
anapatia watoto
Atakipata
uji.
huko.
For real.
Yeah.
And you know, so that's why I know it takes a lot of a new entrant into politics just pushing through and keep doing what they're doing. They are facing a lot of resistance, starting from family.
Wow.
Yeah, because first you can imagine your family doesn't believe in you. But you're like, you know what? I'm just not going to listen. I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to campaign. I campaigned for about 2.5 years.
Where?
Because I came back 2019 I started campaigning.
Yep. 2022,
20,
yeah, 21, yeah.
22.
I remember there's such a time that you were never in Nairobi.
Yeah, I was never. I
You
was
were
in
always
Kisii.
in Ushago,
Yeah.
all the time,
I was in Kisii
24/7.
the whole time. I was really just making sure that I'm in touch with the
Yeah.
people who I want to vote for.
Yeah.
I want them to vote for me. But my support system, other than my sister,
Yeah.
you know, and unfortunately, my dad at the beginning was very skeptical. He didn't want me to be in politics. He kept on telling me, Rudy Denmark,
Yeah.
you know, he really...
But him, it was more protective. It was more like
for
my
him
daughter.
it was,
yeah.
it was protective, and he really was like, the people in Kisii do not embrace women in leadership, and he was so worried. What akurushia mawe? They're going to kill you. They're going to do all these things.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, right before party primaries, he died.
He passed away.
Yeah,
Rest in
so
peace. Yeah.
so it was. He didn't even get to see how far we've come with
Yeah.
this, but he had the thing of. For him, it was more like I need to protect you. But the other family members, other than my sister, were
Yeah.
like, "Hakuna mali unaenda wewe."
Would you do it again? Would you do it all over again? Would you?
Yes.
For real?
And now, because I know the ropes, I would be good at it. I'd be better.
Before we talk about your political ambitions, we'll get to that. We go back to this day that literally catapulted you into international fame.
Yes.
When you got your period accident, the reason I'm calling it an accident is because, one, I'm a man. So...
Is it really an accident?
Yeah, that's why I'm using that accident, because men would assume, it's an accident.
Yeah, it is an accident.
But periods happen.
Periods happen. It's just that
Yeah.
because you don't see the periods, people forget about
And
them.
also because men don't experience it, so we don't really know what to say.
Until 4 weeks ago,
Yeah.
I even used to criticize men like, hey, you don't have a vagina, so you wouldn't know what it
Yeah,
means to
to-
bleed.
yeah.
And then I met the intersex community, and that statement you said, men don't have periods,
Exactly, yeah.
is I can disqualify it.
For what?
Yes.
Because I did hear you talking about what you're talking
Yes.
about FGM
So
on,
I even
on
had-
air.
I had to check
and
myself.
I had the whole station, everyone kept quiet when you explained to them that, we need to talk about FGM, even the intersex
The
community.
intersex genital
Okay,
mutilation.
let's learn. I feel
So
like
when you say like
Uh-huh.
men don't really have periods, like nah,
I'm wrong.
You're wrong, because you have the intersex community, which I'm saying until 4 weeks ago, I also used to be like, oh, you wouldn't know what it means to
Yes.
bleed because you don't have this.
Yes.
And then I realized, oh, that stuff I've been saying is ignorant stuff.
Yeah.
Because you have an intersex person who has physical male
Yes.
physical genitalia,
Exactly.
but internally they have a full reproductive system of a woman, and so they have their cycles and then they
Wow.
bleed.
Wow.
So men to some extent do have periods, and in fact the reason that community reached out to me was like, or we see you, fighting for the girl child.
Yeah.
And distributing pads to all these vulnerable girls, but even if you give us those pads, we can't really use them because they are not really designed for the intersex community. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then they had to
explain, yeah.
And they're like, so I said, what do you guys use? Like,
Yeah.
what happens? They're like, oh, sometimes we're forced to use diapers or adult diapers because you really can't use what's in the market.
Yeah.
Because we don't have pads that consider the intersex community.
Wow.
And I was like, by the way, it took me literally the whole Ata Sikulala. I kept on thinking about it and thinking. So I went back because I am in the process of manufacturing an affordable product,
Yes.
pad.
Yes.
And I went back to the partners and I was like, we need to address
I was like,
the
there's a lot. Yeah,
intersex
there's something
community.
we've forgotten here.
We forgot.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know. They were like, what are you saying? I said, these pads, they can't fit a person with male genitalia who's having
Periods. Yeah.
Very simple.
Wow.
They were also like, what?
What? I mean, I'm speechless because in my head I'm like,
so here
no one
we
talks
are
about these things.
Here we are, us
Yeah.
saying end period shaming to the normal person.
Exactly.
Girls.
Yeah.
Who
Or
are
there's someone who
having
say
the
you
normal
don't even
periods.
recognize me as a human.
You can imagine the shame that
Yeah.
girls are having. Girls are supposed to have periods, but they're being shamed for having periods. What about a guy who's having periods?
Where?
Thanks. Yeah, it's
Now
like a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Now, but also in the same breath, you end up getting your period.
So I end up getting my
Your period, and it's in session.
And
during session
it's
time.
before session. Because I realize the stain as I'm going in.
Yes.
And I should have gone home to change. That's
Yeah.
everybody should have gone home to change.
Should have gone a lesser.
You're just seeking publicity. But I also realized when I got into Senate, I was fighting for a lot.
Yeah.
And I still think I had not healed from from campaign.
Yeah, you're like, there's so much.
I was still mad at the world and everything.
Yeah.
And so my approach to a lot of things was I was defensive. So like that particular day, there were rumors that they were going to remove me from vice chair. I was the vice chair of ICT committee.
Wow.
So my mind was there. I was also fighting to get my stuff on the order paper because I had bills. I still have bills that haven't made it to the order paper. My mind was, I need to make a mark. I need to do. I was so consumed with, I must deliver.
Yeah. I have responsibility for people.
I've been put here.
I must fix things.
I'm not going to fail.
Yeah.
How you can be consumed.
Yeah.
Mpaka mtu anakuambia until ujalala 4 days,
Exactly.
but you're like, to shoot
Why you
this
still
podcast.
going? Lazima happen.
You're not pulling back to see like, actually stop.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons that got me like, I'm not going home. I'm not on top of all the other things that I'm dealing with. Now you want to tell me I have to go home because I'm having my period. Let me tell you, I'm not going home.
Wow.
So it was more a defense. There was a lot of anger in me as well. Like, why aren't things just working in my favor? Like, vitu zinafaa tu kufanyika.
Yeah.
And then there was also like, I must fight for my position. Why do they want to remove me from vice chair?
Yeah.
By the way, that same week I was removed from vice.
Yeah, that week was a tumultuous week for you.
It was like,
hey,
if I was a weak person,
you get your period while you're going to, of course, the camera people are there. Then immediately, again, it's a whole. We can't adjudicate the matter right now because I know it's still been adjudicated, and also, I don't want them to say, you see, she even went on a podcast and she's still talking about us in Senate.
Let's just say there's
you
a
are
lot
not breathing
up till here. Ushaikaliwa mpaka unashanga, why am I targeted?
Do you feel it's a way for them to silence you as a woman?
No, and this is, let me just be honest.
Yeah.
The first thing to a new entrance in politics is you're going to face 3 things: resistance from your side, and ukipenya, once you break through and somehow it looks like you have hope into that political space, then you face resistance from that space because you're a new entrant.
Yeah, and you're going too fast.
Yes. And then when it looks like you're looking like you're about kupenya, to break through that resistance, then now you'll face resistance from higher spaces within that industry. You understand? So there's the resistance from home, from your circles, from whatever. You break through that one, and then you get to the place you want to be, the political circles, and everyone is like, who's this new person? oh my God, do they look like they're going to take my space? Do they, so everyone is so guarded in their space.
Yeah.
So you face resistance there. And then when they realize nothing is going to stop you, it escalates.
Yeah.
So the resistance now comes
they
from
up
above.
the ante. Now we need to, if it's a ransom, let's increase the ransom. Something must give.
Someone told me, if you don't, all the successful politicians and leaders and people who've broken through all of that, there's only one way, it's success. And my sister reminds me, because I keep on telling her, they're saying these young politicians have come with so much fire, they think they can change the world, blah blah blah. And she always tells me that's what they said about Murkomen 10 years ago. Murkomen now is the transport cabinet secretary. She keeps reminding me, Orengo was put down first of all within ODM, then within the political circles, then from above, and Orengo now is a governor.
Even the likes of Saitoti being told you have to pave way for someone else, and he said there comes a time when the nation is bigger than me, and he decided to move, but he was still Saitoti.
So my sister keeps telling me, like, wewe unafikiria wakikuacha ufanye tu vitu zako, you think you'll be successful? They must fight, they must resist, and they must, because that's where now you are formed into a diamond. And without that fire, you will just be meh.
And what will be your impact?
There'll be no impact. You don't have challenges. You don't have you've not overcome anything. So even the drive that you have to conquer whatever big mountain is not there. So for me, that day also was one of the defining moments on that particular day, because I had to choose. It was a lot of fear to be embarrassed, to be ridiculed. I had to choose a bigger thing than that small thing at that time.
Choose something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, and then I had to realize that this bigger thing I'm choosing, the repercussions of it is that you're going to get a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
And I told myself, 1 or 2 days on 2 core stories and whatever, I can deal with that. Yeah. But then I didn't know it was going to go international.
Yeah.
So
it went. I mean, I've read when I was going through the prepping for this show. The research I've seen Knights College. I mean, people talking about, maybe some of them, you've probably seen some of them, people describing what that moment meant for period poverty in Africa, what that moment meant for patriarchy, for the male gaze.
Wow.
Yes, I mean, I was reading stuff and I was like, hold up. This is like some deep stuff for us.
I avoid to Google myself. I don't Google myself. So I'm terrified.
Yeah, because I think naturally you probably also see the bad things. It's like
it's like your mind will take you to. So
but
I don't
for me
do it.
specifically for that, I'll send you the article. It was very interesting how this is a professor from Knight College in the UK.
Oh, really?
Yes, describing how that moment was important for people to understand the male gaze and how the stain on your clothes was affecting the men more because of how they view women.
Yeah, it is. Rather than the actual women.
Running to you like, how do we support you? What do you need for this to...
For you to be okay.
For it's like, no, we don't view women like this. I don't want to see her in
But
this
it's funny that you say that, Anto, because do you know that I was actually in chambers for about maybe up to 30, 40 minutes before a woman...
Yeah.
Before a woman...
Yes.
...stood up to say, hey... Afkuzwe.
And by the way, this is something.
But the men.
Yeah.
One thing you don't even know.
Because I remember the speaker asking, "What do you mean accident?" Like asking, "What do you mean she's on her her day?"
This is now inside. No, inside. The men.
Yeah.
Like, because chambers, everyone walks in at a different time. Yeah. So the guys who were there the first time and saw, they were obviously shocked.
Yeah.
And then one of them asked me, and I was like, forget it. Just let me be. I'm just trying to deal with it. Nimeona anajua. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
And then naturally, because also there is this perception that they've decided who I am. So when I said I forget it, they were like, Ashana, that woman is crazy.
Yeah.
You just leave her alone. Leave her.
Don't
So they were just like, Ashana Naim.
Yeah.
But one thing, and I've never said this, but I feel like I should say it on this podcast. The men. So, for instance, Senator Ledama, every other man that would walk in shock to see for some reason, and they would want to, like, Stewart Mazai wanted to stand, and Ledama was like, no, wacha. hakuna ni nini unataka.
Yeah.
He kept on telling people, you sit down.
Yeah.
You know, it's the, can you imagine?
Wow.
I've never said that because I'm always thinking.
It was a man
and
who was saying.
I didn't want to draw him.
It was a
into
male figure who's saying,
yeah.
guys, why are we bothered?
Ledama was like, wachana na yeye. I swear I'm telling you.
Wow.
Yes.
And I remember I've seen a woman a leader vehemently.
I was in there for up to 40 minutes, if I'm not wrong. 40 minutes.
Before all hell broke loose.
Business was going as usual.
Yeah.
Until a woman
stood.
A woman.
Yes.
Who has periods.
Yes.
A woman who has periods.
Yes.
Stood. Who knows what it means
yes.
to have an accident? Because I can promise you, until there is no woman who has periods who has never stained their clothes.
Everybody.
Like it's like.
And also the fact that we're in Africa, bro. Before people got money and all these things, and even with money, you never know. I mean, it can happen.
Even when you have the app that tracks your cycle, the only other way to make sure you never stain is that you are literally either having a tampon or a pad. Yeah. 3 or 4 days before your period. Yeah. Who even has that energy, resource? It's like you're
and
constantly
foresight.
wearing.
I mean,
you know. So there is no woman, and I challenge you, there is no woman or girl who has never stained their pants. So for me, it was like, are you really going to be the one after 40 minutes in chambers? You're going to be the one that will stand and say this is nonsense.
How did you know? Because I remember that clip, and we won't mention her, but we'll play the clip.
Wow.
You know, mention is like way worse. I'm not like you. You know me, I'm a loud mouth.
Yeah.
But I will cry if I say be mentioned in parliament. Be like, Gloria, you didn't want me. These people are insulting me. This is too much for me. She was, for me, I think for me, what hurt, not, I think I'll use the word hurt the most was, she was disgusted.
Yeah, but
and disappointed. It was more of like,
but you know,
yeah, but somebody like she knows like.
No, but in all fairness, and also I've never said this. That's how I podcast. Yako ndio tell it all.
No, you can't. Oprah on a budget.
Because I'm feeling relaxed. The set is relaxed.
Yeah, Oprah on a budget. I know your problem. I've seen every interview you've done. They never offer you tea.
They never offer me tea.
These budget people, they never give you tea.
Anyway, in all fairness,
yeah.
This particular senator, that anger, that disgust, that discomfort that you see, it was not limited to the incident. You just didn't like me.
Oh, I get
so it's that thing of even this thing that is happening now.
When someone has held stuff for you and then they decide now,
it's like
2 days
piled up anger, and then you're like, wow, an opportunity for me to explode.
Behind the scenes, Senator Gloria, behind the scenes. And I mean, again, I know your rules and you know and the guidelines that you abide by. We do not talk about behind the scenes, but behind the scenes, do you then end up feeling like I know you have very many friends and supporters, but does it make you feel lonely sometimes when you say, I can't believe the people who should understand me are the ones who. Even on this, they should pick this fight with me today. But they decide,
first of all,
you're the one they'll fight.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, it was more about, and even the silence after that, the silence from the institutions that you would think within parliament would speak up to support. Yeah. The silence was not because they don't support the initiative. The silence was like, we don't like you, Gloria.
We don't like the messenger.
The messenger is a shit person to them. So they don't like it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, for me, and maybe that's what's different with me, because you know we've worked together. You're not. You know, there are artists that I do not stand. Like there are artists that I'd be like, I don't like this artist. They have a bad personality. But then when I'm asked about their talent, I'd be like, no, this person is a good singer.
Exactly.
But I just don't like them. But I'm able to separate the message and the messenger.
Exactly.
And that's what for me, even in production, in social work. It's easy for me to do my work effectively because I don't see individuals as individuals. For me, it's like, I really don't like you, but this thing that you're doing, I support, and so I'll put the other stuff aside. But you know, in politics, it's not like that. It's not.
It's the messenger comes, the message comes, the messenger. I don't like the messenger, so I don't like the message.
And that's why when I even used to go on TV during campaigns, and sometimes I would be like, talking of things that ODM would be doing, and I think this is a good thing. People started saying, oh, this is a mole. This person is not loyal to us. But for me, it's like, no, but that thing they're doing is actually a good thing, despite us being political, rivals.
Yeah.
But, and it's something I can't, that's just who I am. I'm able to do that.
And with you tabling 5 bills, including the sanitary towels.
Oh, but you asked me about, do I feel lonely?
Yes, yeah.
That thing about it gets lonely at the top.
Yes. Lonely at the top. Lonely, lonely, lonely. That's the soundtrack of your life.
You know why?
Money on my mind. You're like, if I don't have friends, let me just think of money.
Do you know why? And it's not really because you change. It's because
people reveal themselves.
People reveal themselves.
Yeah.
One.
So because they might now teach you. They disliked you and you never knew.
And then also, if you're a person who has not arrived.
Yeah.
Like you see, Anto, you could have arrived your days for NTV. Yeah. You could have been like, I'm good with this.
Yes.
This is all I want to do. But because you want to be better.
Yeah.
You keep on
reinventing
yourself, being disciplined to your trade, and all that, and somehow it isolates you from people in different states. Your time in the past, they're friends you had, and they're the ones who fall off the bandwagon because you're like, no, guys, we're not going to drink every day because tomorrow I can't have a hangover.
That thing of Kenya, we say, ni kama tuelewani.
Mimi
na wewe
hatupatani.
Hatuko
kwa WhatsApp.
So let me just go home. Like you realize the fight is not even beneath you. Yeah. It's not worth it.
That's not what happens also in politics. Because there are people who, from the moment they walishikilia Biblia and they were sworn in, they arrived.
Yeah.
They want nothing more.
Yeah, there's people who we've seen in parliament never spoken.
Yeah.
Like they've never, you know even how you can say, like the Hansa doesn't have them a record of them saying, I do not support. Because they voted no mouthing, nothing.
Because
they didn't say anything.
Been working so hard to get there, and maybe they don't have any dreams beyond parliament.
Yeah.
So you don't blame them.
Yeah.
Au wako tu sawa. Wako parliament. They worked hard to be here. But you see, for me, I know where I want to go.
Yeah.
So what my issue is, when I reached there, it was like, okay, listen, crunch time. We have 5 years. I need to pass minimum 5 bills.
Yeah.
So I'm in the office. So unaka busybody, unaka weni unajifanya.
And then also because you're nominated, I think our idea has always been nominated senators. And
we are second class.
You're flower girls.
We are flower girls.
Like
have you seen me in parliament? I even now wear it.
Because they're in their heads. The thing, and it's funny about Kenyans who probably even will say they want to serve. For them, they say, but she's getting a salary. Why is she? She should just chill. And me, I'm thinking. So you get a salary, so you chill.
Yeah. It's like you're doing too much.
Yeah.
You're overworking.
But what is too much?
So when you know where you're going and you have a vision, unfortunately, if you don't have like-minded people, unabaki peke yako kwa hiyo journey. So because kila mtu mwingine anataka kwenda out every day, it's like mesha si umepata pesa si nini tuende out of town nini. You can get easily distracted. And then let me tell you, Anto, kuwa member of parliament in this country, milango zinafunguka where there's a conference here with mheshimiwa.
So let's not lie we do know there's a lot of hard work. Yes,
there's hard work,
but let's not lie at things are difficult. No, things that in terms of like opportunities and
opportunities are there.
They're there. Doors open, like you're saying.
In a week.
Yes.
I'm saying no to like 20 engagements.
Yeah.
And it's not bad engagements. You're like, this is, and people are calling Tanzania to where,
but you're thinking, it means I won't be in chambers. It means I won't.
Yeah, I'm like, I have to be in chambers. I have this bill that's coming. Sometimes I cancel because it's like, actually, I would love to go to Mombasa and participate in that conference, but nimechoka.
But then there are people who love that. There are people who love that life.
That's the thing.
Wow.
So, and if you don't know where you're going, you can get so distracted because until you will be in a plane every single day of your if you're not on the plane, you're in the new venue.
Do you get DMs from
oh yes
from you don't even know what I'm about to ask.
Oh yes.
Do you get DMs from young boys saying madam when him hot?
Hata ni venye hapa tunakuanga censored because
tunakuanga censored.
The amount of dick pics.
Yeah.
Guys. Way.
You're like, why are you unsolicited?
Boy child hapana. Yani unafungwa tu pa we.
You're like, why?
I'm just here trying to look for which schools are requiring sanitary pads.
Yeah.
Nini
huko mnanitumia Drake videos.
My son, guy. Yeah. My son used to help me with my social media.
Where?
Unajua ile bidia niambia mami I cannot
hao watu
ni
kama wachiwe wewe uko na mtoto
ni kama kuandika kwa Facebook
whole adult in your house.
Ni mtoto wangu ana deal na hiyo nini, mbona mnamfanya hivi?
But ini jana tamana na greed ya kumake it.
Mtu anakutumia pap nini we alafu wanaeka mpaka venue usikuje tupate respectable gentlemen of
they
this
don't
society.
know you even have like a kid or something.
I have to write
they don't know your kissy. You don't age. Kisses don't age.
I'm like, guys, I'm 37 years old.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. I am completely taken away. Siko kwa soko. Leave me alone. I am like, you know, ni venye tu sasa wako like supposed mtu wako tumuone.
But no.
But it doesn't stop them, you know?
Yeah.
And also apparently, because when I started asking, what is it? Because when I've been on these platforms, nobody has been doing this to me.
Yeah.
Why are they suddenly?
Because now there's the idea of, you see the opportunities that are open up for you, they imagine being the guy next to you, even if they're being hidden.
That's one, but apparently I was also told they know that it's lonely at the top.
Yeah. Oh, so they're thinking you must need someone.
Definitely.
So I'll give you my. Can I give you my?
So can I
give you my wish list of my female MPs? The female MPs I want you to come up.
Please. By the way, Mimi, I will connect. I will be the connector. The good thing, I'm sure the ones that you want.
Yeah, I'm
are
sure.
Single.
No, but
I'm
also
sure
I know they must be your friends.
They are my friends.
They must be your friends.
Sema, shoot your
because
shots.
Me, I like
shoot
people
your
who are
shots.
like,
are
like, I wouldn't mind.
Sema. You wouldn't mind?
I wouldn't mind being very close to Honorable Wamoshomba.
Okay.
I don't know if she's your friend.
She's a very good friend of mine.
I wouldn't mind being. I know she was proposed to, but I find her very beautiful and smart. And Gladys Sholay.
Ooh.
Yeah. You
I
see, I have a
type.
Na pia si waoga hapa. No one sit in the back seat.
So Sholay wa Mshomba.
Babe, ona huyu ananyongeleshaje. Maliza yeye. Mortal Kombat finish them.
Wewe unataka mtu wako kudefend.
Na also mtu mwenye
anajua mali anaenda maisha.
Yeah, no offense. Pia pesa si mchezo. Yeah. You must take care of your money.
Economy.
Yeah, because I know I have seen deputy governors who are complaining on TV saying that they left, they are broke. I said,
yeah. But it's a reality, and maybe also the perception is we have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of money.
Opportunities are there.
But
also, I know you guys, how many times in a day do you get asked for money? Or M-Pesa? Or
my M-Pesa in a day, transactions, inaweza nipatia loan ya 50M.
Jeez.
Because of the utasikia
nani amekuwa
mgonjwa nini and then unfortunately you see those relatives who never even
now you owe them
and you know it's black tax
and you can't do anything about it.
Blackmail thing which when you start thinking you need to control it.
Imagine if someone tells you sasa Gloria anko atakufa kama uko hapo.
Unasikia kuna watu wanasema
someone says that you have to send the money. I mean surely how do you say anko atakufa kama uko tu hapo kwa really?
But now I'm at a place where I'm like I'm not Jesus.
Yeah, I can't
help everyone. Yeah. And even if I could, hata sina hizo resources. Yeah. And I've had to make very difficult decisions because you see also I'm a mother, I have responsibilities, I have my actual child, my family.
Yes.
So I've learned at the beginning where it can be overwhelming. But squeezy is like Senado.
And speaking of money, there's been a lot of conversation and specifically around relationships and all over Kenya. The same way someone DMs you, some girl has been DM'd by some guy saying the way, you're beautiful, I'll change your life, They meet up and the guy actually ends up being probably a serial killer or probably people are actually in an intimate relationship and the guy ends up killing the girl. And specifically I'm talking about femicide. I know even when the match happened, I did speak with you literally like a day or 2 days after.
Yeah.
And the one thing, the conversation that we had around it, and I asked you honestly, as the truth, as Senator Gloria, what would you tell anybody who thinks that a man or a woman, the same way I was joking about those MPs, a man or a woman is my ticket out of poverty, regardless of whatever happens? That I look at you and I just say, me by the way, me mtaniambia kitu, mi naomoka na Gloria.
You are the plan.
Even if you are abusive to me, even if I'm breaking a relationship here, that I just know you're the one.
It's like a job.
Yeah.
It's like a job. That's unfortunately we have brought down our social lives into tasks, into jobs.
Yeah.
It's like nikienda, this is my boyfriend, Anto is my boyfriend, enda kuona Anto.
Yeah.
Anto is my job. Unafanyanga nini mufanya Anto? Anto ni kazi yangu.
Atoedo.
Atoedo.
ATM yangu.
Nilipe rent. And that's,
but it means anto akikuunda ama akikupiga,
but ni kazi.
Yeah,
It's the same way we sit in toxic workspaces. And you literally, we have people driven to suicide because of work.
Yeah,
Literally, they jump out of their work offices.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're like, hey, mbona hujaacha hiyo kazi? It's the same reason.
Yeah.
I need to eat. I need to live. And you know, it's unfortunate because it's a culture that we have forced. We've embraced it to an extent. Sasa kama mimi, assuming I was single, niende home na mtu anakaa tu hustler.
Yeah.
Like hustler, maybe makanga hivi.
Yeah.
You know, my family will be like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, what is happening?
You're a senator. Ini kazi gani unatuletea?
Yeah.
Why? Because your partner is supposed to be your key.
An anchor also for you. Yeah.
So they won't even see the person like mtu ni mzuri, mtu anakusupport. They'll be like, this guy ako kwa matatu all day ukiwa chambers.
Yeah.
Hata akileta maximum 5k, hiyo ni pesa wewe unatoa, unapatia mtu tip.
Exactly.
So it's like, but what does that have to do?
What's the connection?
With relationships and love?
Yeah.
But we've anchored everything into minta omoka na anto.
Yes.
So like now, even the expectations, if I was single, is that, you better either come back here with a governor or like a CEO of some company or like, you know, hata nikikuja na msanii watakuwa
So like Aki, after all those years, as if you're investing in this to do all this so you can get someone bigger.
Yeah. And then, so when you want to address the issue of femicide, you can't address it in isolation of that.
Yes.
It's only that, unfortunately, there's so much anger and so much misdirected anger.
Yeah.
You see, when you called me a day after, you called me to ask me,
yes,
mbona haujaenda match?
Yeah.
And I was like, I really wanted to go. But I also understand because I've been told by so many people that the blame is being shifted to women leaders.
Parliament, yeah.
To parliament.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to aggravate people. So I did my own match in my own many ways, including upping my advocacy, upping my support to victims, upping my engagement with the Minister of Gender in terms of the gender desk. I was like, you know what? If I can't go and be seen in public, and it's not like I can't, it's just that, you know, siasa lazima ukwe aware the people who you represent are feeling this way. Whatever you do must be to help them feel better. So if you being there does not help them feel better, by umeenda huko kufanya nini? You saw what happened to the women rep, which I think is so unfair that Pasaris was being booed and asked, where were you? And because she has been in it throughout. I was with Pasaris the whole week in different shows. We did a show with her in Kenyan. She spoke up about it. She was on the ground, and I mean, Pasaris has been vocal. But you know, there was so much anger because also there's an expectation of, as the women rep of Nairobi, where umefanya nini? But you see now in a situation like that particular one, which we now were addressing Airbnb and the deaths. Yeah. Honestly, as a legislator, above and beyond pushing the SGBV authorities to be proactive and efficient, Pasaris could not have been in the Airbnb.
Could not have prevented.
Could not have prevented in her capacity as an individual. But the awakening, the call is, okay, people are mad. What can you do with you? And now for me, I wish that in that particular time, they would ask her, you know, thank you for coming, first of all.
Yeah. Or give a list of demands and say,
thank you for coming for the walk. You're here, you're present. Because I respect Pasaris for being present and going. Because most of us were so beat down and angry at the world as well. But we were, like, personally, I was informed that people want your head, because they see you and they're like, why are you not protecting our girls? Yeah, and I understand that. But Pasaris went regardless. So they should have, and they should have taken the opportunity to say, okay, we're disappointed, because everyone is disappointed. Equally, I am disappointed. We are disappointed, but what plans do you have for us, women of Nairobi, as we move forward? So that if at that point she says, I have no plans, I'm like, let's walk, by all means hanga.
Exactly.
You know, like how do you wear una plans aje wewe ni mheshimiwa, wewe ndio uko na ngaf, wewe ndio uko, you know, you have the funds, you have the, but you see, and which that was a lost opportunity, because I would have also wanted to say, hey, women rep, thank you for coming. What are your plans?
Or here is our list of demands.
And then, like, how are you addressing Airbnb? Do you really think it should be allowed to? How are you addressing these men who are just right next to us saying tutawaua? How are you? That was a missed opportunity for people to engage directly with her. Hakuna maneno ya media na Twitter. Sasa uko hapa tuambie.
And also Sabina Chege also echoed the same and said that we need to have these conversations in schools, in university, where these girls are being lured, or where these girls, again, the conversation in isolation, where we know they are the ones DMing, looking, asking.
And you see, Anto, and I don't want to seem like I'm plugging in.
Yeah.
Personally for me, and maybe this is what my PR team keeps telling me, change. Mheshimiwa, you're doing so much, lakini unatokea ni kama uko more aggressive, nini. Because I was looking, people saying, oh, what were you doing? I'm like, hello, I've been in more than 50 schools in this one, Nairobi. And I'm not just distributing pads. We are talking about sexual reproductive health rights, safeguarding measures, how people should not take advantage of you so that because of these pads or whatever, how you should relate with your peers, what is child on child abuse. I'm doing that every single day. Yesterday, I was in Kamkunji with over 800 girls. Every day, in a week, literally. So, you know, when you see misdirected anger, as a leader, you understand. But then it also prompts you to think, what are you doing for this particular situation? I can tell you, talking to girls in schools, ensuring that they are aware, these are the things that could happen. That I am doing, 100%. And I don't even have a fund. Because as a nominated senator, literally, aside from your salary,
maybe that's also one of the reasons why people can't stand you, because in their heads they're like, who you? Nata hajapewa pesa. Why is she doing too much?
I don't have any fund. Women reps have the fund, the GAF fund. Members of parliament have over 100 million. By the way, if there is someone who should be so, you know, if the electorate should be so angry at anyone, they should be so angry at their members of parliament, because the women rep has about 8, like Pasaris has about maybe 17 million, I think, at most for Nairobi. At 8 million to 17, I'm not so sure about the numbers. So it's nothing, because she has to give bursaries, she has to do rescue homes, it's a lot of work that she's doing for the whole county. But a member of parliament, particularly like a constituency, let's say even now Dagoretti North, over 100 million.
Wow.
Per year.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to go to the streets and be angry, where were you? What were you doing? Please be angry at your member of parliament.
That's literally close to $1 million.
Yes.
Literally.
100, by the way, 100 is on the lowest. Kuna watu wanachukua 150. Kuna constituencies.
Plus, I mean all the other partnerships that also come on board.
First, they're 100 million for a member of parliament.
Financially,
if I'm a member of parliament, for instance, of Dagoretti North, 100 million ni pesa inaingizwa, unaambiwa, this is constituency development fund. Work for
help your people.
So kama kuna mtu akona uwezo is a member of parliament. A woman rep is seen to represent the interests of women. Unfortunately, their kitty, as I said, is a max 8 million. I think Pasaris has the highest because Nairobi has many constituencies. But it still doesn't even come to a 0.009% of what
it's a drop in the ocean.
It's nothing. And still she'll have to give bursaries, so the women rep position has such high expectations, but it doesn't have money. And the office is not funded. And you end up trying to explain this to people, but guys are like, where? We elected you as the women rep. So when this femicide thing is happening, why are we not seeing you doing all these things? Why aren't you not picking up the let's say the legal fees? You can't.
The more you work, and for the people, the more you work in the chambers, do you and also go to the ground, do you realize, or do you see there's a lot of disconnect between information that people have as to who does what for them?
And so people have come up to me and they're like, unakula pesa ya serikali. I'm like,
which pesa?
Mimi hata pesa yangu yenye nafaa kukula yangu, my own salary hiyo tunapewa
napeana
sijui 700 ani ndio inasimamisha pads.
Because
there are times where people don't contribute, so you don't have pads. and then your list of distribution is still there. So you can't be saying tunangoja pads. You'll go into your salary, you'll take 100,000. You'll buy pads for people.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So hiyo pesa ya serikali, first of all, nominated, we don't have even an operational fund for your office. You don't have.
Wow.
You have a PA that is hired directly by Parliamentary Service Commission, yourself, and a secretary who's hired directly. That's it.
That's it. You're on your own.
Yeah. Mimi hizi vitu zote naona nikifanya, I don't have sina CDF, sina ngaf, sina anything, nothing. I rely on donors, partners, sponsors, friends, ponyos, Evo. Like, shoot your shot now tumena 40k.
Now tumena 40k. Mimi naenda Kawangware in a few.
But kama jana ni mtu, it should be nice, and I'm like, yeah, but we are suffering lack of pads. Then they're like, oh, really? Nimesha tuma supplier. Na uana tuma direct supplier.
Oh my God, I love you. Don't lie.
Hata usinitumie pesa. Direct pap.
Yeah, like usifikiri unanisaidia.
By the time at 3 o'clock supplier amekuja na 1,000 packets.
So ukiamua kwenda date ilikuwa umenunulia pads.
By the time nimekula dinner jana usiku 1,000 pads. Kuna wasichana wana benefit.
Exactly. But with all this vigor and energy to have the people, and with the bill, with 5 bills that you've actually tabled, but specifically
now the
sanitary towels provision bill, don't you want a more conducive office? And conducive here to mean somewhere an office with a kitty where you can say, this is my agenda, mumejua from the beginning, yangu ilikuwa kujenga barabara, yangu ilikuwa ni pads. Do you want to vie for the Great North? Do you want to vie for women rep Kisii? Do you want to vie for Bobasi again? What is your ambition moving forward? Political ambition? Najua nimewasha moto kwa like Anto. You know what politicians like saying? You like saying, Anto, it's not a political year. Let's leave politics for 2027. Now it's
bullshit.
Nonsense.
Nonsense.
Say it.
First, anyone who says that is giving you
Please,
PR.
just a lie. Also is a coward.
Thanks.
Because we know they have ambitions.
And you know me, I'm not a coward.
Yeah, please.
Mimi naogopa tu Mungu peke yake.
You're the only senator. Actually, let me shock you. Of all my parliamentarian friends, you're the only one who's ever agreed to be interviewed by me. The rest have agreed only on condition that it's on phone.
Why?
Because on phone, it will take, you can't be on phone for an hour, naturally. So on phone, they want just deal with small issues.
So nikani nimechoma already.
No. No, and wanataka nikimpigia simu iko about, let's say, nimekuona kwa hiyo match ya watoi wanasema shule imenyakuliwa. So
give us your feedback.
Then
aka sound bite.
Why? Because a lot of people, knowing that I know them, it's very difficult for them to lie to me.
Okay.
So they'd prefer Mr. Ranganyanto.
So I'm not going to lie to you.
Yes.
Because it's very difficult anyway.
Yes. I'll just be like,
What I know, having been in Senate right now, I've learned, it's 19 months? Obviously with the suspension, this thing.
By the way, you know something I wasn't able to ask you. When you're suspended, do you get paid a salo?
No, you don't get paid nothing. And
so
you have no privileges. I was suspended.
No. I don't want you to be
but
troubled.
We went to court.
Okay, yes, you had an injunction.
Yeah, I went to court because it was unfair.
Yes.
And that's always been my position. I reported an incident. I still think the incident should be investigated and addressed.
Yeah.
And it should not have been turned against me.
Yeah.
And we are in court. And we've been in court since.
Yeah.
But the court allowed for me to go back to parliament. So I've been in parliament.
But kuna kamwezi hukupata salo.
Imagine.
Hey, we go fight for that salary. That 1 month.
Lakini Anto kama ni mimi niko hapa na bado na survive.
Imagine.
Let me tell you.
It's all you ilienda.
Hiyo kuna vitu zingine you just you walk
whatever,
away from.
Man. Yeah.
But after seeing the dynamics and learning how parliament is a very powerful, Senate is a powerful house. If you know how to work the ropes. And it's a very powerful house if you have the strength and the perseverance to politic 24/7. Every single thing is a political, because it's a political house. So you also don't expect that in kanisa huko watu
diplomacy
it's politics. So the only thing, sometimes I get really tired, and someone has told me it's because wewe ulikuja na moto. Si ungekuja tu chini sasa watu wangekuwa na kuembrace.
But tunaserve watu saa ngapi?
No, niliwaambia wewe, hebu niambie mtu mmoja alikuja chini mwenye amesurvive. Utaka 5 years na hiyo chini ndio utatoka pia chini. And by the way, they nominate you and expect you to get elected. But in the 5 years where you're supposed to build your brand and
how will you be elected if you keep quiet?
Thank you. In fact, there's a whole period during that suspension where honestly people who cared about me were like, tone down. Like senators would call me and tell me, tone down. Anikubaya, tone down. Wow. And I just was like, tone down.
But it's issues.
It's like, munaniambia ni tone down na mnaona hiki kitu inanifanyikia guys. Mnafaa join movement. They're like, nah. Tone down. And the problem with toning down, you start having imposter syndrome. Because I'm not, Anto, you've known me for how long?
Exactly.
I'm not a tone down person.
13 years.
Mtu akiniambia ni tone down, nikana niambia stop being Gloria.
But also the intention ya kuambia tone down is very important, because intention inaweza kuwa let's silence her, not at rather
that's what I
come
feel.
And advise me, tell me, Anto, I saw something happen in the podcast, don't talk this week, keep quiet.
Keep quiet.
Intention. That's intention, like, because something bigger is coming, so don't talk this week.
Don't take this week.
But this is someone telling you, you're doing so well, keep quiet because it's spoiling it for us who can't do it. So
do you know, Anto, I got into the political space because of my
not toning down.
Because of my opinions.
Yes.
My strong opinions, that's what people noticed, and they were like, kuna kitu wanasema hapa. Dem venye yako. Ebu tumweke hapa. Ebu tumweke Kenya. Even my party leader, I don't have a broker. I wasn't brought to my party leader by someone. My party leader watched a show on NTV and asked, who is that?
Who is that?
That person should be in our communication team.
But would they?
So now, why would that is my strength. My strength is opinions, advocacy, speaking out for people who can't speak out. And then someone comes and tells you, stop. Then I don't know what to do with myself, because that's who I am.
Would they tell Murkomen to tone down?
Would they tell a man to tone down? Have you seen a man in Senate being told to tone down? No. Have you seen Halwale being told tone down?
Tone down.
Easy vitu zenye unafanya saizi, they are too much. Like this week he has been in media. Nobody is calling him to tell him to tone down.
Now there's a photo of Halwale trending, him standing next to his 3 wives. And people are glorifying him.
Oh my God, they clap.
I can imagine you standing next to your 3 husbands.
Hey. Umesema hata hiyo kitu kwa hii podcast?
They'll be like, Anto anamjua lazima kuna watatu.
Anto tuambie.
Huyo ni mama mbaya sana, kuna watatu.
Those are not the morals we want in this society. They don't. They don't. Sifuna is every day, literally, figuratively, slapping every other person on set on TV. Nobody is telling Sifuna
with their Pocomo customers.
Na kuchapa makorefu kwa na my friend umekuja kuongea, you think you are a lawyer. You know nothing. Sifuna has told you sit down.
Now they're sort of propping him as should he be the next governor of Nairobi.
So why
can they prop you as the next governor of Nairobi?
Thank you. Because kwani sijatosha? Because that loudness, that the whatever it is that makes you want to watch a show when these male individuals are, that's why you watch my show. That's why you're like, hey, Gloria leo ako kwa yo breakfast, whatever. But then me, I tone down. So that you guys can continue, you men can continue leading us. Hata me, I think nimefika kukuwa na Nairobi governor. In fact, hata umeniuliza
ambition.
Hebu niulize zenye am I vying for?
Dagoretti North MP, Women Rep Nairobi, MP Bobasi, or Women Rep Kisii.
Mbona umetoa Senate na niko Senate pia?
No, Senate, no offense, akunanga do huko. Na when Kenyans,
hakuna do ya kufanya watu kazi.
When people speak that, people think we mean pesa ya kuiba. No, I mean hakuna kiti.
Hakuna kiti.
Do you remember how when Sonko was in Senate for 5 years?
Bana alikuwa na sota juu anatumia pesa yake kusaidia
watu. Hold up, I have set my gold watches to what is this? I know there's no money, there's no kitty. So when people are vocal, actually the first thing people assume is apelekwe Senate or tumpiganie a vie for Senate. I think now.
What do you think I should vie for? Na bado umeongeza hapo Nairobi governor.
Yeah. For me, I really think you should vie for Dagoretti North. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't want to be seen as being prejudicial to the MP now. Who's
the MP now?
What's the lady? The lady who used to be in
Elachi.
Yeah, I don't want to seem prejudicial. I mean, I'm speaking to a woman, then I'm saying another woman should leave. No, the reason I'm saying is because she's one of those lucky. I know her journey is not lucky.
But that particular
seat,
she's lucky.
She's lucky because Arati left.
Yeah.
For Kisii. Me, I come from Kawangware. That's my shags.
Watu wanasemaje huko Kawangware?
Kawangware, mwenye anakubeba na matatu, mwenye anaendesha matatu, mwenye ana fix matatu ni Mukisii.
Na mwenye hata ako ndani ya matatu.
Hata mwenye matatu na wewe ni Mukisii. Hakuna mali nimeona wa Kisii wengi in my life than Kawangware. And all of them. Na supermarket, na mikate. By the way, don't mess with Kisiis. And most of my friends by there are Kisii.
We're very industrious.
And you guys don't know, you guys really age.
So you think I should go for
me, I really feel that would be the battle, the Napoleon battle. It would literally be the battle of the hills.
Really?
Seeing you going against Elachi would be the battle of the hills. But
you see the funny
in the
thing?
same breath, I really think you have an opportunity to be women rep Nairobi. I think there's a huge opportunity for you to be women rep Nairobi because I feel the tide is no longer moving towards women rep Pasaris. I think she's had a lot of PR fails, a lot of them, and Nairobians don't forget easily.
But I've had PR fails as well.
Yeah, but also remember, I don't want to. It's only because we're having this conversation. I've never thought about you like this. I would consider you our female Sonko.
I don't know whether I should be happy about that. No offense to Sonko.
No, but
it's like,
and not with all the things, the rumors we've had. No, from a fearless perspective.
Okay.
Whether you like me or they don't dislike me, but you know I can fix your issues. So you will have Nairobi, for example. Let's say you'll have it going to, let's say UDA will be UDA, and let's say you are in opposition, and no matter what, guys will vote for you. They'll say, you know what? Kule juu tutavotia mwenye tunapenda lakini kwa hii hatuna party tunaenda na huyu mama. So I think you have an opportunity to do that. But also the third thing I'll say, don't listen to me. And I'll tell you why.
Why shouldn't I listen to you?
Because a lot of times people do this just because they want your money. They don't care shit all about you. There's this behavior of unajua manzi wewe unaweza kuwa women rep monoma kwetu. Manzi wewe ukisimama kwetu MP
kukuchocha.
Hakuna mtu mchana wewe unapita by saa 4. Bro, they do that to you. They say Melachi go and say ati mimi nitafanya communications. I then go and do the same thing to Sifuna. I go and do the same thing to Theuri. By the time you realize Anto is playing all of you guys and I know who is gonna win.
So let me because you're an honest man and this is an honest podcast.
Yes.
You said like, you think the competition between me and Elachi will be...
I think would be grandiose because I really feel you would give her a run for her money.
Quite the contrary. I don't think there's any competition there. I think if I vied in Dagoretti,
yes,
my competition would not be Elachi.
I apologize.
No, honestly, like
yes.
I think there are other players who would give me a run for my money.
Have you thought of vying for Dagoretti North?
I have thought about it.
Yeah, I think.
But with Elachi is not my competition.
Yes,
it's not. I mean, and sikwa madharau or anything.
Yeah,
it's just.
But some kama mtu wako wa PR, wacha tuseme ni competition yako. Ndio mtu mwingine asiingie.
No, wako wengi.
Unanyorosha by 10
na wengi wenye tunaiangalia. But let me also tell you something. Because I want to ask your question. Now put you on the spot.
Yes.
You talked about Nairobi women rep.
Yes.
But we have Karen Nyamu and she's a firebrand.
No.
Yes, she's a firebrand. Everybody knows Nyamu.
Yeah, but firebrand for what? You know, let's not give titles to people just for the sake of giving titles.
Be careful.
Yes.
Be careful.
Karen Nyamu is very well learned.
Yes.
Very learned, by the way.
She's in the legal fraternity.
Yes, she's
very smart
an
mind.
advocate of the High Court. But also, I mean, for what reasons is she a firebrand? Is she a firebrand because of going to the ground, fighting for people who, let's say, have been displaced? Is she a firebrand because of distributing sanitary towels? Or is she a firebrand because of the person that she is in a relationship with? When we think of Karen Nyamu, what do we think of the most when we talk about Karen Nyamu? Samido or some of the people in Islands, for example? So for me, it's okay. Yes, all of us are powerful in our own ways, but we must ask ourselves, in what lanes are we powerful?
Because for Nairobi women,
yes,
that is the competition.
But also it means I'd also say that Millicent Omanga would also be competition.
But Millicent Omanga is competition.
But also, yes, but then that means I'll say the three of you would be in the same league. But also think about it. People have spoken about Millicent Omanga and her dancing routines, and they took away everything from her to her dancing. Okay? They forgot everything she was doing to her dancing.
So you think I have a chance? Because I have not been twerking, and I
think you have an opportunity because your private life has not disrupted your public service.
Oh, I hear you. That's good advice, by the way. Yeah.
So your private life is not disrupting your public service, which means people have very little to say about your private life, that if they were to honestly judge about your public life, well, then they would give you a shot. Yes, if you were to go against Karen Nyamu or Millicent Omanga, yes, the private life would definitely bring problems to you in the sense that there'd be a lot of halabaloo. Because remember,
who is this person?
You're sitting at the top of the news, you know.
Yeah. Who is
she'll
this
do
person?
Something. She'll be in the news.
Yeah.
She'll probably say something online against her.
But I feel
co-wife.
like
Something will be in the news.
But that's so unfair to women because we don't look at the private lives of men.
Yeah, but also,
and that's the shitty thing because, like, for instance, if we looked at the private lives of, you said Sifuna is being propped for governor.
Yes.
Let's take a deep dive.
Yes.
And
but also,
why are we not taking a deep dive? Why are we only focusing on the women?
We're not focusing on, and I think now that we're having this conversation, I think one of the reasons why we do not deep dive into some of these men's relationships is because they do not. And growing up, by the way, the number one rule that I always knew about politics is family is out of bounds. We all know
so that they do not subject us.
They do not subject us to their families. Hii picha ya Khalwale could trend with the three wives standing next to him. Why is it trending? Khalwale has always been known to be polygamous. Why is it trending? Because we've never seen those wives. We've never seen them. We've never seen them. They never talk about these people at all in the public. They do not subject them to all of these things. So
I just feel like it's an unfair.
It's an unfair
because,
assessment.
For instance,
yes,
fine. I can't speak of Karen because her family life, which by the way is her family life,
and is a choice.
Yes, and she's very happy in that space. Is in the public.
Yes,
but all these other candidates that you've talked, including Millicent Omanga.
Yes,
it was not her. She didn't put her personal life. Someone else took advantage and did that.
Yes.
But still, we are sort of punishing her for things that were not really her.
And I met her at one of the campaigns at the Wheelbarrow Day, and I really think she's very smart. I really wish people would give her a shot. But then,
and that's what I mean.
But in the rules of love,
in the rules
of love and war.
And in the rules of politics.
Yeah.
So then also what you're saying, it will take just one nude picture of mine to disqualify me from the race.
Nope. This is Kenya. This is Kenya.
Because the only difference between all these people is that my personal life is not in the forefront.
It would probably
but it's not because they chose. Okay, maybe Nyamu chose.
Yes.
But these other people, they didn't choose to put those things online.
Kenya is very, it's very difficult. Kenyans are very difficult to understand.
You can't say it's just a patriarchal society.
It's patriarchal, yes. But also remember, it would probably take one nude photo of you for you to be literally the most Googled, the most searched for, and probably the third most powerful person in this country. That's how weird Kenya is. And probably the same nude photo would probably put you on the brink of the precipice and no one cares about you.
And the interview that I had was we were talking about women and all this unfairness in the political world.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to talk about if my nudes come. I'm always prepared for when. Because remember, when my nudes come out.
Yes.
Shame.
Yeah.
Will I recover?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you don't assume that
but you know what zinaweza kuwa si zako, some might look like you.
Sasa kama Anto for instance, sisi tulikuanga Netherlands for a long time. Wasanii, that's why I produced. I mean, you know, before I came into politics, like I had a whole life. And like at one point even I had a whole very active life, you know? And to expect that now that I'm in this space, there is nothing. You know, I'd have to be a very strange person.
Naive.
You know? It's like the way people say that, because Michelle Obama doesn't have past photos of her even being pregnant, or maybe she's a guy.
She's a guy,
you know, if I didn't have a past, people would now also turn that into, is she really a human being, you know? So I always tell people, ever since I entered this space, I'm like, when my nudes are leaked, will I survive?
But also again, me being a,
like mimi na
a PR guru.
Unajua hata ungekuwa wale watu wenye, you know, model. Maybe watasema wata survive because society and values. Mimi tu hivi venye na kuanga hivi na tumbo.
Wakenya, you know,
watanisamea.
Wakenya wako interesting.
Wakenya watakuwa
you'll hear people say, manze, iyo fupa. Udema meweza. Tunapendanga hiyo ako kanyama. Bro,
do you know we had a presidential candidate who had a whole video of him naked, inebriated, completely out of control, and you know, in the middle of sexual activities.
You know what Drake said?
You know, we forgave that guy like in 3 seconds.
Do you know what Drake said?
If that guy stood, whether he has like a UN job or something, the guy's okay.
For guys, the truth is, when it comes to men, there's a level of machismo,
but that's
of
bullshit.
Like, you know, manze. But like I told you again, when it comes to women in this country, there's also a level of, you never know. People might just decide, lakini na huyu anakuanga audacious. Huyu dem.
Hakuna. By the way, hiyo sijui nitakuja nitafute hiyo PR company yako nikwambie Anto nimefikiwa. Nimefikiwa.
Let me tell you, the day wanakufikia. The day wanakufikia, the first thing PR agenda ni bill. Cyberbullying immediately.
We have by the way we have someone pushing a cyberbullying bill.
Ile ingine when you
atungoji kufikiwa iko hapo. Nudes iko, by the way, revenge porn.
Yes, but
revenge
now
porn is there.
We'll just call it the Orwoba revenge porn bill and make noise out of it.
Ama uko na ex wangu unajua unaenda kumwambia atoe nudes.
Actually, the question I should be asking you is, the question I should be asking you, Senator, is, are there nudes of yours that we should be?
Who knows? Who knows? You know, you can't be sitting here like, because let me tell you something. Wewe before tuanze podcast, umeniambia guys, zile siku zetu tukikuwa tour, hakukuwa na Instagram.
Imagine,
right?
But we had phones, we had WhatsApp.
We had phones, we had photos and videos. It's just that nobody had the opportunity to post them on Instagram because we didn't have Instagram, right? So when you ask me, are there nudes of yours? I don't know because also remember, people who are malicious are taking nudes of you when you are passed out.
Exactly.
Asleep. Snoring. You know, and you don't know. So it's like saying, uko sure hii time yote ukilala hakuna mtu anakurecord. Mimi si Mungu. Siko sure. So niko tu hapa in my corner and I'm like, boy child asinifikie. Because I have so many things I want to offer. This my community. I cannot be stopped by a nude.
That day, itakuwa 27, umeshakuwa MP, wasikushtue by the way.
Mimi hata na sasa nikienda huko nataka kukuwa president. By the way nisifikiwe please. My exes, munisamehe, musirelease me.
Watume tu jina zao za kweli na
also kuna hiyo kitu ya watu Photoshop, you know. Guys, Photoshop
I'm telling you have sisters who look exactly like you. Imagine if one of your sister Blanders akiwa Mombasa.
And you know,
people will actually believe it's you because you guys, I'll post a photo. They look alike. It's not even funny. When I met your sister in media, how did I meet your sister? I stopped and I told her, you look like Gloria. That's why. And she laughed. I'm like, no, I'm serious. You look like Gloria, who have just come from Netherlands. But unanipita kwa ofisi. Aje. How mean sister yake? So it's possible. I think also we need to learn to forgive. Even for when you've said that, or maybe you felt like it's good that this conversation has come about. I think even for you need to learn to forgive yourself, and also you need to learn to sometimes pat yourself on the shoulder, but also forgive yourself a lot. Meaning, even if you see, prepare, even if it was to happen, I forgive myself because I'm like every other bloody human being. What would I have done in this moment? Isilikiwe. what would I have done? Would I have called that guy or call all my exes? Because if I do, they'll now have those nudes. So all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So what's the most you can do? Forgive yourself and move on. And in any case, we'll have a prayer day. This is Kenya. Have a prayer day. We pray for them. Pray for MPs who've gone astray. And then say
mpaka saa zingine unakachini unasema ama tu niende nikachapwe mapicha za manudes mimi mwenyewe nizirelease.
Msijaribu kuniharibia.
Sasa mwenye anataka kurelease zangu nishatoa.
Ama ufanye kama Amber Rose. Unaitwa slut and then you decide, you know what, you do what? You have a slut walk. Amber Rose was called that name so many times.
Yeah.
I remember because the way she walks, the way she's shaved her hair.
Yeah.
She was like, you know what? I'll have a movement called the slut walk.
No, you know, sometimes that's the easier way to deal with it. Like the way you told me tunaitwa flower girl.
Yeah.
The last session, I every day go with a flower on my
wow.
head.
It's mini flower
because
girl.
I'm so tired of people trying to water down the work that we are doing into being flower girls.
Yeah.
That maybe I'm going to embody that flower and be like, yes, flower girl, me here with my
exactly. Yeah.
And with my motion and with my contributions, I accept being a flower girl. But it's so, you know, Sazingine, we don't talk about this enough. Actually, I realize I don't talk about this. Like sometimes I just get tired.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I sit,
having to explain yourself.
Not even, I sit and I'm like, aki ningejua, maybe ningeongelesha party leader, kuna mahali angeniweka where I'd be more impactful.
Gosh.
And there'd be less fights.
Gosh.
Yeah, sometimes, honestly, sometimes like you sit and you're like, oh, maybe that's what he was trying to tell me, but mi sikuwa nataka kusikia. Niko tu nataka kukuwa parliament, give me the ticket,
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, having been now in the space, and you ask me, am I going to vie for A, B, C, D?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to be in a space where I can have a positive impact.
Yeah.
And with the little resources given to me, I can literally change shit in this country.
Yeah, you don't have to, you become a women rep and then the first thing is
you're fighting.
They remove Ngaf, maybe, for example.
Yeah.
They say, oh, now we're removing CDF.
Yeah.
You become a governor, the MCAs decide now they're coming for you.
I know there's always going to be a challenge, but I feel like sometimes, especially where I am right now, and I don't want to sound ungrateful because I love my job.
Yes.
But I'm just being honest. Sometimes I'm like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Like, guys, I'm 37 years.
Yeah.
Mumekuja sana.
Yeah.
You know, chill.
Exactly. But also a
And
millennial qua parliament. So,
you know, and then I think sometimes, and this is the thing about the grass is greener elsewhere, and it's probably not.
Yeah.
But then I think, aki ningekuwa huko, tungekuwa tunapigana nani hapa chibunge sijui nani nini. Huko tu unafika, unaamka, unasema, una deal na ile team, vitu zina happen, you know? Like for instance, you know, after the stain incident in parliament, literally the budget was coming up and my party leader, at my request, moved it from 60 million to 740 million provision of sanitary towels. And I'm like, the shit I had to go through
for this to happen, I wish I was in an office to just fix this.
Tungekuwa hapo kwa office niwaambie sikiza.
Nipeni 740.
Us guys are bleeding.
Yeah.
Like, just give us money to buy pads. Yeah. You know, sometimes I think I'm not saying it's unnecessary, but it is unnecessary. Like, so much fighting just to get basic rights, yeah? And so now every time when someone asks me, are you going to vie in Nairobi? Are you going to vie for this? Are you going to vie for that? I'm like, am I going to vie? One, if I'm going to vie, which position will have the highest impact? Two, that impact, how sustainable would it be such that it's not like just within my office as I'm holding the office? Is it a policy that I can put in that's permanent? Is it a legislation that I can make and be like, that was Michuki rules. Look, we are still referencing, you know, Michuki. You know, so there's so many questions that come about, and then I'm like, where am I best placed? Because I know, you know, I know who I am and my character, and I'm like, Hapo, don't put me there because A, B, C, D. So I'm also assessing all these opportunities in line with who I am and what I believe in and what I want to achieve.
Wow.
And it's not as simple as I'll vie for Dagretino.
Exactly.
It's just there's so many dynamics.
The more I think about it, if I was not I was next to the party leader, I'd tell him, uyu mrushe nominated MP.
Tena nika nominate staki.
Yeah. Si unajua au ingie MP bado unyoroshe watu huko na sasa ungangane na hiyo because you Dagoretti North aki usipo utakumbuka sema aki Antuli niambianga look there is no one. I'd be like, you see, I told you we just go to Kawangware, we make noise with you. Chukua hii Kawangware.
By the way, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
You're not the one. Even Simbarati has asked me, why you not vying for Dagoretti North? And I was like, You have so much faith in me.
Exactly.
Governor, you think I should go there?
Yes.
It's like, why are you not vying for that? You should go there.
Yeah, and you know, me, I knew when Arati got in, I knew, nobody would ever touch that seat. Now that he's out, bro, it's a free for all. So you know what to do. My last 3 questions for you before we let you go. Number 1 is, who is that one personality? We've seen you sitting with princes and kings and queens and traveling the world and meeting everyone. But who's that one personality you'd like to meet? And you just, or probably work with them, and you're like, man, if only I could meet today. Yeah.
I would say a lady by the name Ingrid Betancourt. Little known, but she wanted to be president of Colombia. And if you Google her, you will find some of her books. Even Silence Has an End, some of her books. Because in Colombia, they have the gorillas, the group of, who stay in the Amazon, and they're always against government. And when she was campaigning, she was like, I'd like to be president for every person in this country. So she decided to take her campaign to the Amazon jungle.
Wow.
To talk to the gorillas.
Wow.
She was like they're called the FARC. The FARC.
Yeah.
FARC.
Yeah.
It's like Nika Mungiki. Okay,
exactly.
It's Nika Mungiki, but it's like, I'm trying to localize it.
Wale wa Konyi.
Bus.
Uganda.
Yes. She was like, no, let me go and sell my manifesto and my agenda to these guys, because they're also Colombians. I want you to wangu.
And there's a reason why they're in the Amazon.
And there's a reason why they have chosen to, And then she lands there with her team. By the way, her team, I always tell my team, you need to be like Ingrid's team.
Exactly.
Juu alikubali kupanda ndege na yeye kuenda
huko Amazon.
Kujipeana.
Yeah.
And then she gets kidnapped for 7 years.
Gosh.
Yeah. Like, her kids grow up and nini, life goes on.
What?
Her president is elected, nini, literally. And then she's broken down, and her team, they're broken down. Half her team conforms and actually starts a life, forms families with these people.
Wow.
And she chose to just stay focused.
If I'm going to take 7 years to still convince you guys, I will.
Even at that point, she was not about running for president. It was more like, I am Ingrid Betancourt. I have my dignity. I am a person. You're not going to break me down.
Wow.
7 years.
Wow.
And if you check like on YouTube and whatever, because when I was introduced to her by Peter Alti.
Oh, yes, Peter Alti.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Peter was like, Chloe, I need to buy you a book because you're going to be a woman of the world. And I know that at one point you are going to be in governance. So we go, and then he buys me a book.
Wow.
And I'm flying back from Amsterdam to Nairobi.
Yes.
And it's like, this is 8 hours, and I know you. If you like it, by the time you land, you finish reading the book.
Something about
it. It's like a huge book.
Wow.
I read it in 8 hours.
Wow.
It's called Even Silent. By the time I landed, I want internet, Nico, YouTube, Nam,
Who
Google.
is this person?
I'm obsessed. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm calling Peter. I'm like, oh my God, do you know? And then she wanted to be president. First of all, that for me was like, she wanted to be, she had the guts to even come out and say, I'm vying to be president, And deep down in me, I'm like, it is doable.
Exactly.
So I would like to, that's the one person, because she was rescued by the French government after 7 years, and it was moving. And then she later now became like motivational speaker, an influential person. She's been on Oprah. She's never gone back. She goes back to Colombia. Even the last 2 elections, she was somehow part of the election, swaying people to a direction. But she was like, I think obviously something changed in her, and she's mostly in France. But I would love to meet her.
If you met her, you know what my elevator pitch for you to her would be, one, either you could come up with a screenplay for her story.
I know, right?
But also, because you're good in this, maybe you should work on a musical theater on her story.
We should do. I wanted to do a musical called Maji Maji Rebellion.
Yep.
Anto, we need to do that.
I got to the Netherlands, Denmark, and Belgium. Sometimes I feel good when I meet like Mzungus and they're like from Norway or Belgium. I'm like, I was in your country.
I was in your country the other day.
I was at the Hard Rock Cafe in Denmark. It was so interesting,
Been there.
These things, because of Gloria, guys. That's why we ended up in
that musical theater.
The musical, which included Charles Oda.
I know, it's funny because I was going to tell you, when I got the news of Charlie, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
And it just took me back to production,
Yeah,
everything. And
yeah.
it's sad, but
And
Charlie
you
was
look at
in
his
that
work
show.
ethic
I look at it.
and-
Charlie, even when people were striking,
Yeah.
Charlie was not part of the
He
people
was like-
striking. He was like, guys, to my sign contract.
Exactly. Can
Let's
we please
just
do
work.
our job?
Yeah.
Me, I was shopping.
And so when guys are trying to strike in Holland, and so it's like,
Like,
guys,
I have job, please.
mimi
me, I have-
siko kwa hiyo nini
Because
yenu.
for me, it was the strike was taking up my shopping time.
Yes,
So
and
I'm
your
like,
money,
bro,
and your money.
and my money. So I'm
Yes.
like, I wanna go shopping.
But Charlie was so
Yeah, very hardworking.
straight cut, hardworking, dedicated.
Yeah.
Like, now I when I got the news and I got the goosebumps, and I'm like, I don't even think I can watch the show again.
Because you imagine him within
I
his,
think I'll just break down.
at if we were to do like let's say a regrouping or a reunion of that show, the idea that he
But
wouldn't be
we lost 2 cast members
from that
show. Because we lost Lillian.
Yes, Lillian Olembo
and now Charlie.
And now Charlie. And I know it was supposed to end, but being African. But that also leads me to ask you, and Charlie's family, and his soul rest in peace. How do you take care of your mental health? What systems do you have as parliamentarians, politicians, senators to be like, Ati, by the way, every third Saturday of the month, MPs just doing yoga somewhere.
Okay, that should be. It's funny because
honestly, when I look at it, I'm like,
I thought I had like an actual senator in my mind doing yoga. I'm like, that is
That's
funny.
not funny.
That's so
no,
funny.
me, I've just imagined, and I'm like, all of them saying, "Is it nini sasa?" I'm like, okay, actually.
I mean, Parliament actually has tried. I wouldn't say tried. They have.
Yes.
Because we have we have a gym, free access. We have you can book in a massage free. You can like a whole
I
whatever.
want to be an MP.
No, seriously. By the way, I've never been there.
Yeah.
I went once to check out the place, but I've never gone.
And when
back
you used
again.
to live here, Karibu Lavi, you used to go to the gym all the time because you were paying.
I know.
Now that you're not paying,
But I go on the treadmill in my house.
Yeah, okay.
And that's another thing. When I said gets lonely at the top,
Yes.
How I deal with I don't like spending a lot of
You
time
exercise.
with my workmates.
Yeah. Work, candle. Yeah.
So probably that's one of the reasons I don't go for the free massage and what because I'm like, guy, huko nika tunarudi kazini.
Exactly.
But Parliament has been Parliamentary Service Commission actually provides that. We have a nice like garden area in Parliament where you can even take like a chill zone between sessions and whatever. We have what else do we have that I know?
Therapy, counseling, none of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's even like a church group which I don't know why I'm not a part of, but there's groups, there's like chama groups within Parliament.
Yani umekuwa Delela wa Senate.
No.
Surely.
No, I think
Unanyimwa aje church group of all the groups. Gloria.
no, it's me who has
Gloria, you have to enter that group.
I have
Enter. Ati ukae tu kwa group tu
actually
ingie.
maybe that's more on me. I've pulled out
Yeah.
on I've tried
A lot
to
of these
separate.
interactions, yeah.
I really have been like I work with you guys.
Yeah.
I love working with you guys.
But
I have to take care of my mental state.
yes, that's also good.
So I'm one of the people who pulls
awareness is also very important.
out of the social settings.
Yeah.
In fact, they say I'm a snob. I'm not a snob. I'm just trying to guard my space.
Exactly.
Because often the other thing is you find you're chilling with your colleagues and it's normal and you're doing normal things to chill. And then they bring back those conversations.
Yeah, and you're like, that was
in official settings.
Yeah.
Or like they judge your relaxation mode
in official settings.
So I'm just like, no, I'm not going to be in the same space when I'm zoning out.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm more of like I have my own space a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I drink champagne.
Yeah.
Champagne is good.
Yeah.
I love champagne. I watch a lot of Netflix.
What kind of genres do you like?
I love documentaries.
There's a show I just watched on Amazon.
Uh-huh.
It's called Them.
What is
It's
it
about the lives of after Jim Crow. Black Americans were now moving towards Midwest or the West
I should
and
look
the
for
North.
that one.
And so now this guy is moving to a predominantly white neighborhood, and the things they go through in that day. And by the way, it's not based on a true story, but they've collected all these things
experiences.
that exactly happened to black people.
Wow!
I think
I need to watch it.
Oh, it's called
I
Them.
watch a lot of documentaries
I think you'd love it.
and series. political series.
Why do ladies love documentaries of like what wakiwana?
Not me.
Oh, because
me, I like those.
All my female friends wanapenda ile IDs zile za kuwana.
I don't like it. I already have a lot of drama in my life.
Yeah.
I don't want
you
to
don't want to learn how.
No.
How you're going to tap the next MP?
I like these things.
Parliament.
I like these things about like space.
Okay.
The undiscovered group of people in the Amazon.
Nice.
Weird creatures in the sea.
Nice.
Just weird documentaries.
This by the way is very on brand for you as Kisii.
Really?
Very on brand.
What the hell? Umetuambia vibaya.
Ati vitu tu funny. Sijui watu waje.
Umesema sisi wa
Very
Kisii.
on brand.
Wacha.
Kugula, unagula vitu.
But I'm like by the way, I'm like Netflix and chill.
Yes.
Champagne.
Yes.
Music, sleeping.
Yes.
I sleep.
Yeah. And I know having fun times with your son.
And having fun times with my son.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not. That's why people are like, you exited the social scene. I'm like, no, I just found myself.
Exactly.
And I love doing these things. Mm-hmm. And then I love traveling. I have a lot of friends in Ghana. I have, thanks to the former president.
Yes.
I used to work for him.
Uh-huh.
I also studied there at some time, at some point. Mm-hmm. So I like, sometimes when I want to like check out, because it's become too much mentally.
Yes.
I go to Ghana.
Wow. And I love Ghana, man.
Wacha nene nikae na watu wangu Ghana kidogo.
Huko wanijui ati ulisema nini jana? No.
Hawana interest na vitu zenye nafanya huko.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like you get to switch off. And the expectations are lowered, so you relax.
Final 2 questions. Second last one is, how do you stay in your bag? Like, how do you make sure your money, like, what are the 3 things that you just say, this is how I stay in my bag? I do not borrow people's money because, no, like for me, for example, I don't borrow family. Like, I do not loan family money. And when I do, it is a gift. And I've moved on from it.
You just write it off.
Forget about it. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I cannot consume what my pocket can produce. The idea of being seen that you're driving a Maybach, just because now you have money to afford a Maybach, lakini una pesa ya mafuta.
Hapo mimi na wewe
bro,
together.
So making sense. So hebu nipe zako 3.
I am afraid of loans. Terrified. But I also am constantly reminded by my business partner, these rich people are not rich because they use their money.
Yeah.
You need to get a loan and invest in something. Or every other time when we have to take a business decision in many of the businesses that I do, I'm always the person saying, guys, see, we save fast. And they're like, no, we can't. We are not. How are we going to save 600 million, Gloria? We can't.
Yeah.
We need to take a loan because this thing requires a lot of
money.
So I'm afraid of loans. So I don't have personal loans. Mimi too.
Yeah.
Like it's
sijui credit cards, sijui
hata nimepewa credit card na banks ngapi and they're like, you're not spending.
Yeah.
And then once in a while, because I'm like, okay, let me see how I'll spend it.
It's like fuliza. It's not like
the moment nalipo hivi niko hapo, please clear that credit card loan.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be in that space. Yeah. So that's one thing. But I also I'm not a big spender. Like I honestly, people ask me, what do you use with your money? I'm like, I pay school fees.
Yeah.
I pay my son's school for myself. Like, spend money on myself. Maybe I'll buy 1 or 2 suits to wear to parliament, but that's more like tools of trade.
Yeah. It's expected.
I eat out twice every week, but it's not something you can say I spend my money on.
Yeah.
So what do I spend my money? I don't spend money.
Wow.
And I don't have the need. I don't have an urge like, oh my God, I have 3 cars, but I don't
you have to have the latest models of those 3 cars.
No, and even those was like, it's more of the functionality of the cars.
Yeah.
And even now I'm like, oh, maybe I should get, because of business, I'm trying, but I don't spend my anto. Like, Mimi, maybe tukule, because even the champagne, my friends,
Exactly, they'll know. Like now I know, if I come to your house, I'll bring you champagne. So you have stock. So you're frugal.
My mentors send me boxes of Moet.
Aish.
They're like, we know you've had a terrible dinner.
Aish.
So I don't even spend money on champagne.
Hold up, you have a bad day in parliament, your mentor send you boxes of Moet and Chandon. Sisi, you have a bad day at work.
No, I'm trying to think like, what do I spend my money on? I end up spending most of my money on like buying now when the pad bank is
Yes,
low.
yes.
Or now we are
On
trying to do on
others.
others. I really, literally, like, you need to come, and even if you take my bank statements and everything,
Yeah.
utakuwa, mse anafanyanga nini pesa?
Mtu anaboy, huyu mtu anaboy. So anyone, all these
So-
boys trying to be your boy toys, they should know, boy, this one will not spend on you like the way you're thinking.
I
It's not
don't.
gonna happen.
I don't. And honestly, it's not because I don't want to. I don't have sina vitu nataka kununua.
Yeah.
But maybe if someone introduces me to some, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's also the circles I am in, because also the circles I am in,
Yeah.
they don't spend money. By the way, we are always sitting, we're like, what are we doing? Like, for instance, this Christmas, my sister twende Dubai, tupeleke watoto Dubai,
Yeah.
sawa.
Yeah.
So like that whole year, I spent money on taking my son to
To
Dubai.
Dubai. And that's done.
Like if you're saying my money on me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, hata mkiona nikikunywa champagne, hiyo pesa si yangu.
Exactly. Wait, hello, come on.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency Kufo. I love the champagne.
Hey.
Every time,
Hey.
every day. I
Watu wajaba
love it.
mnasikia.
Unajua mentors pia lazima wajue kitu.
Lazima
Huwezi
wajue,
kuwa unasema
eh.
ati wewe ni mentor wangu.
Na
alafu-
utoangi, please. Finally, before nikulize hii, please talk to your party leader,
The president.
and remind him he owes me
Ehe.
that wheelbarrow ride.
The infamous wheelbarrow ride.
The one that me, I'm being blamed for the economy till today. Nambiangwa every time. It is because of that ride.
Yeah,
That is why we.
you who told you to push the president on a wheelbarrow? Look now.
Me, me. I was MC in this event. Then I said, and I was.
And you did a really good job.
I was supposed
You know you're a really good MC. People
What
should
should
know
I MC?
Uh-huh.
Kupanga.
Alafu ulichochesha hiyo crowd.
You know. Mimi nilimwambia sikia kama na MC event lazima anibebe na wheelbarrow. Nikamwona handlers fine. Hiyo ndo rule yako. Fine. After hiyo I was supposed to be the president anipange. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know actually. Unataka kupangwaje?
Cheki.
No, tell me.
You know I'm a very smart person.
Absolutely.
Me, I just want to sit down with the president and explain to him, by the way, specifically what I want him to do for Kenyan artists. And one of them, most importantly, includes securitization of intellectual property. I really, really think, let's say someone like BN, you could literally securitize his talent and make crazy shitloads amount of money with BN as an asset.
As an artist.
So there's a lot that we can do to get away from the status quo. There's a lot we can do, from arts and craft in school, from music, from just understanding millennials, from conversations like this to the agenda of whatever the government wants. But hey, Gloria, the way you said ati we ukupata broker, asa walitumwa kwangu wote. Wenye waliambiwa wasikusumbue, wote walitumwa kwangu.
Wakakufikia.
Anto, hapana, unje ukitaka lazima uongee na huyu. You have ever reached a point where you say, now me, by the way.
You know, that's so unfortunate because, so I'll cut this clip.
Yes.
You don't need a broker.
Yes. You
don't need a broker. But they're for real. And at the end of as in you can put it, but I'll cut it and share.
Yes.
So, please.
Yes.
You don't need a broker because this is why people are like, you just came in 2019. How are you in Senate? Because my party leader, the president, he actually recognizes talent and hard work, and he rewards. And me, that one, I'm a living testimony. And every single person who is somewhere, you're not rewarded for loyalty. You're rewarded for loyalty, talent, and hard work. Because if it's just loyalty, there'd be so many people.
I mean, it means every voter should be given
but
something.
But Titu is now complaining he was loyal.
No, I think why didn't hear I think Ruto told him that you, Kimemia, and I don't know who else will not be the deputy president. Will be the deputy president because it's Waititu. So I mean, nothing. You can't put anything past him.
If it's just loyalty, you can't just offer loyalty.
Yeah.
And then say, appoint me.
Yeah.
When you're appointed, what will you offer those people? Loyalty.
Yeah.
And I think maybe this is a conversation that I know because we're in that. I used to be in the creative space.
Yeah.
And I miss being in the creative space.
Yeah.
I think our creative space lacks leadership that understands the talent and the business. And we just have never gotten to that space where we can have leadership that understands the talent and actually is able to say the reason why PRSK is not working, MCSK is not working, because they are not working.
Yeah, they're not working.
Those things are not working.
Yep.
And the reason why maybe, like, I don't want to, like, Deputy Jesus.
The fact that he can tell someone online,
yes,
nimekula pesa.
Yeah, for me, it's like,
It was so disgusting.
there's a whole problem.
Yeah.
And the only way to fix that problem is bring someone who understands.
Yeah.
And me, that is the opportunity I see, Anto.
Yeah.
And by the way, you remember when there was a group of people who were mentioned, Akina, the influencer, what's her name? There was a committee. Aziad and who and who.
Churchill, yeah.
I actually was like, wow, we are starting to get people who understand the trade.
And who are in
the trade on the table.
Yeah.
I just don't know what happened, you know?
I mean, again, it's the usual noise that was made around it.
No.
And people literally went to court.
I think that's a space that we as a government have to be intentional, and not only be intentional, we need to know that we must disrupt the norm.
Yeah.
And the norm has been, you bring technocrats from other industries, and then you're like, wewe kapale utakuwa nini wetu wa arts and culture, and the guy is like, oh, vitu tu za Wamasai.
Yeah.
You know, no,
there's more. There's a lot more.
There's so much more to it.
Yeah.
In 2012, when I exported the Kenyan musical theatre show to Europe, that's a whole avenue of talent. We can have like 4 shows in that space because South Africans have.
And I was explaining to guys, because guys
space.
always ask me, so that musical theatre, and I tell them, guys, you must understand that the idea behind that musical theatre was, number one, Kenya is first and foremost made up of human beings.
Exactly.
So the people who they
it's
meet, interact with, exactly, not that the big five
just the big five animals.
And it's funny, nothing we did at Hadas, like walking around with rhinos on our head. No. It was about the human capital.
About the human capital. It was about the culture. It was about who we are as a people.
Yes.
And that's why it was called Magic Out of Africa, because we were out of Africa. Magical Kenya. No, it's Safari through Magical Kenya.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it was about the people, and you know that was supported by government.
Yes.
Because
Najib Balala, our departure was with the Najib Balala.
Najib Balala through the Kenya Tourism Board, using arts and culture to go and market Kenya as a destination.
No, umekuwa hustler wewe.
So mimi nimetembea hii mtaa, my friend. Producer, sijui dancer, nilikuwa dancer.
Ulikuwa za
sarakasi.
Jesus.
Watu wasinibebe hivi.
So ambia CEO wa Kenya, ukijana, you did him dirty.
Hata sitamwambia.
You did him dirty.
Kitu tutafanya. Wewe unani tu audience.
Exactly, twende tu.
Unani tu audience.
Pia kitu ni realize watu waliniogopa sana. Unajua ikuwa na kiherehere. I think people told themselves.
Wakakwambia utone down.
Yeah, huyu atatuharibia kazi zetu zote. Hatuwezi
No, but then this kind of ideas and interactions is what helps us build the industry.
So guys, our next podcast will be live at State House Tumeomoka. I know you have suffered.
We are going to be having this conversation. There'll be a third party.
Yeah, third party. I know you guys have suffered. We are about to change your lives, boys.
But they don't put it past the president. He is
I know him. He can be like, I want to be a guest on this show. Am I not a guest?
He's known.
Yeah. So, and lastly, what do you want your legacy to be when all is said and done? What's your byline? When we say Brad Pitt, we say storyteller extraordinaire. When we say Lupita, we say
your dreams are valid.
Your dreams are valid. When we say Senator Gloria Orwoba, what is your byline? What is your legacy?
Guy, that is such a big question. First, I'm too young to have a legacy, I think. I think my legacy can be limited to these 5 years. Like I've been saying, after these 5 years, if I don't achieve anything at all, I must at least achieve a law that secures the sanitary pads to the girl child from government. Like that's one thing I'm like...
Period.
Yes. But I feel like I have so much more to give. Like I feel like after 5 years, I don't know, like you said, governor, who knows?
Yeah.
I feel like 2032 is like one big vacancy.
Deputy president.
My friend, women should finally hold those positions. So I feel like if I have to talk about my legacy now, it's a bit premature because I feel like I have so much more.
So you're saying we're building the legacy now? We're
building the legacy. Definitely, I see a pathway of women empowerment, of the girl child, of, I don't want to say the feminists,
Yes.
because there's a negative connotation, but
Yes.
mtetezi wa wamama na
Yes.
wasichana.
Yes.
And ultimately, like, wow, you know, you need to grow up. When you grow up, maybe you want to be like Gloria Orwoba.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she started as a nominated senator. Look now, you know?
Yeah.
That's like
I'm sure Pangani
the
girls,
trajectory.
you are a riot. I'm sure teachers are probably saying you will not amount to
Mimi
anything.
sikukuwa Pangani.
Ulikuwa- ulikuwa pa-
Wewe usinieke Pangani.
Oh my, you were in
Hey,
which high school are you in?
I was in St. George's Secondary
Oh
School.
my god, yeah, you're in St. G. Why do you always think you're in Pangani girls?
Mimi ni mtoto wa Dagoretti North State House Primary, St.
Oh.
George's Secondary.
Oh, you went to those primary in Nancy. What's to Moi?
Yes.
Yeah.
Na maziwa ya Moi. That's why
Yeah.
even my programs are nutritional, like Uji ya Glow.
Exactly. Yeah, you were in St. George's. Oh my god, why have I forgotten? Yeah, I've just remembered
St.
right
George's,
now
yeah.
you're in St. G.
I never used to. I was the entertainment prefect.
Jeez.
I just missed Kidogo lobbying to be the head girl.
the head girl.
Yeah. But
I'm
in
sure they tell all the girls nowadays.
State House
"Yo, Gloria
Primary, I was
Orwoba."
the head girl.
Wow.
Yeah, me, by the way, I've had this thing.
Hey? They probably say, you know, you should have been you should be like this girl. This girl was in our school here. Things
I
like
don't know.
those.
I don't know.
No,
I
they
hope
do.
so.
No, maybe they don't tell it to us because they know us. We really bugged them. Sometimes, by the way, could make you a prefect in high school. Set in sisi ni wanoma. It's a way
Wewe ulikuwa
toned
mchokozi,
down.
sasa toned down.
Toned down.
Tumekuweka prefect.
But who are we? Look at who we've become. Senator
you.
Gloria Orwoba, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for being, I think this is the most open and honest you've been in any interview. And I think also the most chilled you've been.
Even look at us Javas.
Yeah. I was even looking at you and saying, amevaa ni kama Gen Z. Okay.
No,
what's-
I'm ready to talk.
yeah,
Talk to me.
yeah. And I told you, I don't want drama. I don't want us who said what about you. No,
Yeah, yeah.
let's just have a conversation like two human beings. Because at the end of the day, you are a human being. We cannot
Yeah.
forget. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for that you're doing for girls and for sensitizing about FGM, about intersex community, about period poverty, literally about advocacy and everything that you do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Please make sure you go follow Gloria Orwoba, Senator Mahesh Gloria Orwoba on all her social media handles. And of course, the question you should ask yourself, this show is about 3 periods. 1, it's about the one thing that catapulted her into national fame. 2 is the period of time that we are in. And I have been telling guys, it's the unashamed, unafraid period that we are in.
Dare
and
to be
most
shameless.
importantly, everything you say, stand on it. And that's on period. That's what's up. Make sure you check out Unlock Your Soul on all social media platforms on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. And Unlock Your Soul podcast. My name is Anthony Your Soul. This is where we scratch beneath the surface to find out what really makes us human. Aha. Period.